So this is the Monday Motivation. My name is Dr. Tony Smith. I'm a doctor of chiropractic in Palmdale, California. I've been in practice for 29 years. I've been in the health and wellness industry for a long time. I was a college athlete. I actually raced jet skis professionally for many years. Now I'm an avid cyclist. I race road bikes and mountain bikes in the Masters division. Anyway, I'm excited to share with you about the X39 and a little bit about how do you introduce it to a doctor, or how do you introduce it to a healthcare professional? And understanding in this day and age in the healthcare industry is that we're seeing a lot of times where our overhead is elevated and our reimbursement is decreasing. And it's across the board in every field, whether it be an orthopedic surgeon, pain management, general physician. I mean, it is what it is. We see it significantly in the chiropractic industry, in physical therapy, rehab. Just things are getting more expensive. Every insurance wants to charge more for your insurance, but they want to pay less or charge you a higher copay. So that, again, happens to the doctors. And so understanding doctors are out there looking for ways to increase income in their practices without raising their overhead. So one of the things when I was first introduced into this industry, with kind of crazy story. When I first got into practice, somebody brought in a nutritional supplement and they said, hey, you could sell this out of your office and you can help people with this. And I'm like, oh, okay, so that's awesome. They never talked to me about being able to generate income outside of my office. They only talked about me selling a product in the office, and I make the difference between retail and wholesale, which I was like, okay, yeah, that's cool, but it really didn't get me excited about it. So I did that. It was kind of crazy because I was racing jet skis then. I was in their magazine and everything, but they never elaborated on what the potential of a network marketing or of that type of business opportunity had. So they kind of dropped the ball on me. And so I did it for a while, but it just didn't make sense for me. It was just seemed like more work with less return. It wasn't until another patient actually came in and introduced me to, hey, would you like to make money outside of the office without raising your overhead? And I'm like, well, heck yeah. I mean, I'd love to clone myself and have myself all over the country and generating income. But how do I do that? I have no idea how to do that, because if I bring in another doctor or I open another office, it's not these hands that are working on them. It's somebody else's hands. And sometimes that relationship, they don't have the same skill set. They don't have the same interaction or PR skills or whatever. And so it's just not the same thing. It can be done, but just not as effectively in a lot of cases. And so he introduced me to the network marketing or affiliate marketing type of program where I could actually build a team of people or representatives or associates across the country by sharing something, sharing a product. And it started to make sense. This is like franchising without the franchising cost. Oh my gosh, why hasn't anybody ever showed this to me before? Lo and behold, somebody tried, but they never did actually showed me the whole thing. But then, so I started to grasp the concept is that I can basically duplicate myself by sharing something and without creating that overhead. And so one of the ways that I would say when you go into a doctor nowadays is that a little thing that I would say is that if I can show you a way to increase your revenue without increasing your overhead or adding more staff, could I get a few minutes of your time? If that doesn't raise their eyebrows a little bit, like, really? Like, how can that possibly be done? That could get your foot in the door. I know in my office, I have a lot of staff and they're at the front desk and I don't let a lot of people get back to me. But a few keywords like that would raise my eyebrows, and that would kind of get me thinking like, well, what is this person talking about? Like, what is it really about? Because I haven't seen anything that I can generate income that doesn't cost me more money, that doesn't cost me more staff to manage and that. And so, but if you can show them a business model like this, you can actually get some people's time. And then you start to talk about stem cell reactivation. Most people in the healthcare industry are familiar with stem cell reactivation. And if just to get your foot in the door and to get those words out, like, hey, if I could show you a way that you can help your patients or reactivate their stem cells that is cost-effective, non-invasive, and safe, that everybody can afford, can I get a few minutes of your time? Again, that would raise my eyebrows a little bit. And that's literally what raised my eyebrows to this in the first place, is that they started talking about stem cells. That really piqued my interest. Like, wow, the only way I knew how to activate stem cells before or to do was to do a bone marrow draw or do an embryo, which are some of them are obviously very controversial in this day and age. But if I can safely, non-invasively reactivate people's stem cells, and I can show other people how to do the same thing, I don't have to always be the one doing it, but I can create a team of people, a network of people across the country in different states and different regions and different countries. Man, that's exciting to me. And that would be one of my first things to do it. The other backdoor approach to getting into a doctor's office or professional's office is building a relationship with somebody in the office. Now, the first 2 times I was introduced to network marketing companies was from a patient, but I was introduced another time to a company that grew very large, and it was actually through an employee. Because I had developed a relation, the employee, I had a relationship with the employee, so I trusted her opinion, and she brought something to me, and I was like, holy cow, this looks pretty enticing. This looks pretty interesting. It was new and it was taking off. And so I trusted her opinion. I trusted her opinion enough to go in and look at the information. I knew the industry and I kind of knew ground floor opportunity. No one else had it at the time. And so having that relationship with that employee, I was open enough to listen to it. So my next suggestion is how to get into a healthcare facility or any professional facility is to build a relationship with somebody in there. The closer they are up to the doctor, whether it be like they're a manager or a clinic manager or somebody, the better it's going to be. But at least having somebody that's already been accepted into that community or that group is going to be your foot in the door. And they don't necessarily have to be the expert, but if they can bridge that gap between you and the doctor, that will at least hopefully open the door for them to listen to you. And then again, send them to startx39.com. That has everything. You don't necessarily have to be the expert. If that person can forward the information of where the site to look at the technology, to look at the research studies, that is the key thing. And that's a beautiful thing that we have because it's a one-stop shop for finding all of that information. 2 of the ways that I actually recommend getting into doctors' offices. Honestly, this business is built around relationships. So the better relationships you have with people, the bigger your team is going to grow. So build those relationships, share the information, get out and impact people's lives. So understand, I never sell the product off my shelf. Okay. This business structure doesn't work that way. We want to build teams of representatives. So as we introduce from a doctor standpoint, so I'm strictly, now that you have the doctor involved, well, how does the doctor make money? So one of the ways that I start to build a team in my office, so I'll introduce it to some people, and you have those people that don't understand the business concept yet. They just want to be a consumer. They want to try the product. So I do what they call a place and replace program. So the place and replace program is basically, when I started, I bought the diamond pack. So I bought enough product that I could put product in people's hands. They could walk out of my office with product. And so basically I have them sign up on the sign up form. They walk out with product, but I have their first order of product come back to me. So it's a place and replace. The company is going to drop ship the product back to me. And then their next auto ship, their first auto ship is going to go to them. Their auto ships are going to continue to go to them, but their first order is going to come back to me. So that's how a doctor can actually start to build revenue in his office without having additional staff members to do it, because it's a basic sign-up form. You just sign it up. The product is in the people's hands. I literally put a patch on, I open the product right there for them. I put a patch on them when they walk out of the office. They're walking out with the envelope 29 more days in their hands. They're not waiting for a shipment to come, but I have their sign-up form and their information. And I just put in the order and the company sends that first product back to me. So that's for basically a consumer. Now, when you share it with people who get the business mindset and they see a bigger vision and they want to do the silver pack, or even a bigger vision is going to have a gold pack or platinum pack. If you start with the bigger packs, you're going to have enough product on hand to do the place and replace program too. You can actually put enough product in their hands to where the company, the first order comes back to you, but they're walking out with products. So they're not waiting. There's not a lag time. There's not 4 or 5 days that they're waiting for their product to come to them so they can start to build their business. They already have product in their hand and they're already hitting the streets while the company's still processing and shipping product to they're already out touching people's lives. So that's the ways I actually do the place and replace. But you don't just have to be a doctor. You don't have to be a doctor to do that. Everybody can do it. And that's why we strongly encourage those bigger packs, is because you can put product in people's hands and do that place and replace. They can walk out of your house or your meeting with product in their hand, and the company's going to replenish your stock and supply when you put that order in. That's another thing that a lot of times we forget about, is having enough product on hand to put product in people's hands immediately and stop that lag time. So anyway, those are a few different nuggets that I wanted to share tonight. The biggest thing is get out and connect with people, get out and impact people's lives, because this literally is a product I truly believe will put days, weeks, months, years into people's lives. I mean, if you understand what stem cell technology does and has the capability of doing, it's every cell in the body. There's not a organ, tissue, or anything that does not start from a stem cell. So know that you have your hands on something incredible. Some people, they have such short term of stick-to-itiveness, because if they don't feel something in 2 or 3 days, they must not be working. Trust me, it's working. It's working from the inside out. It's doing incredible things. There's not a cell function in the body that does not function without a stem cell. We have the science, the technology to reactivate our own body stem cell without getting it from another source that's safe, non-invasive, and affordable for everybody. So with that, guys, I hope I've enlightened your Monday evening. Get excited, go out and impact people's lives. Get signed up if you're not signed up.